Welcome, everyone, to Ladies of the Kitchen. I am like busting at my green pop-up dress here because I have two amazing ladies for you today. Not just one, two. And I love them equally, and they both are like my daughters, one I birthed and one I didn't. So the one that I birthed is Marissa DeRosa Campbell, and wow, we've been connected since the day she was born. We've worked together. We pretty much raised each other together at different times in our life. She's created a wonderful business called Super Luxury Lifestyle. We worked at the restaurant together. I could go on, but you'll find out more about her and you can tune in her website and see what she's doing today. And then my other daughter, who I've adopted, what, couple years now, right?
Yeah, a couple years ago,
Is
yeah.
yeah, is Laura Lindsey, and she is an amazing editor and an intuitive creative coach, you guys. She has the most amazing storytelling ability. A lot of that may come from her background in English, but I really think it's her heartfelt presence that brings it to life. She was really the one and only. There's a couple other people that I have shared, but she really was the behind the scenes support in my book, The Healing Whisk. Welcome, Laura and Marisa.
Thank you, Maria. That was such a beautiful introduction. I'm trying not to cry. I just did my makeup, so I don't want to get emotional, but I love you so much. Thank you. That was so sweet.
So
Aw.
she and you are our host, not me. I'm not going to interview today. She's interviewing
Yeah,
us, you
we're
guys.
switching seats today. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be hosting, which is exciting. Um and Marisa, it goes without saying that I love you so much too.
Aw.
So yeah, I'm excited to talk to you both today about this project that we've all been working on together. Just to say right off the bat to anyone that is listening to this, we are not going to reveal a whole lot about when the book is coming out or what it's even called or anything like that. We have our lips are sealed for a little bit longer, but we are really really excited about this book, and I wanted people to get a behind the scenes look at it, and just hear from these two beautiful authors in front of me about really what this book has brought to them, what it means to them, and just kind of like a little bit about y'all's experience. So, Maria, I really want to start with you because you and I, like you said, we've worked together for a couple of years now, and we wrote The Healing Whisk together. Well, you wrote a lot of it. I kind of just inserted, excuse my dog, I kind of inserted my own, touch here and there, but it was such an honor and pleasure to work on that book with you. And I wanted to just ask you, what has been the biggest difference between writing a solo book and writing a book with your amazing, beautiful daughter?
Well, the first experience, I had no idea um, how much of myself needed to be healed, which was the main focus of why I did it. I knew that journaling from my experience with therapy and Al-Anon was a great modality to heal, but I didn't realize how much putting the entire story of my life to paper would heal me. And something just kept telling me when I was done, as beautifully as I've seen my daughter heal through living, in our home, which was chaotic at times, I wanted her to experience that level of beauty of knowing that your story needs to be shared in the world. And her story is is some ways the same as mine, but completely different as well, because her perspective, of course, was unique as a daughter and as a partner in the business. So that's been my real big takeaway of this experience.
And you also got to, I feel like, talk a lot more about Marisa in this book than obviously in The Healing Whisk. It was more about you and your journey through a very specific window in your life. We don't really get to see a whole lot of you, at the restaurant, and we don't get to hear a whole lot about your relationship. I mean, we have a couple little glimpses here and there,
Yeah.
but I mean, this book has like family photos and just stuff that's never been shared before. So, how did it feel to finally get to write about some things that we kind of talked about in meetings and stuff before, but you've never actually written about them? Like, was it an elevated experience from the Healing Whisk? Did it feel any different? Like, I just want to
It
pick your brain a
was,
little bit more about it.
yes, you really hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, adding the pictures. There were a couple of points when I literally had some triggers, like, oh, whoa, I thought that feeling of sadness or that feeling of abuse or that feeling of I'm being taken advantage of or I'm being used or whatever it was, the negative feelings they came up. But what overshadowed those feelings was the closeness that Marissa and we shared some things about each other's lives that we had never shared. And I think that being women at this point in our life, having passed so many levels of challenges, we were able to bear those things and not be judged.
Yes. Yes. I love that so much. And Marisa, I want to kind of ask you a very similar question, but this is a whole new experience for you. You had never written a book before, and I want to know what kind of similar but different question. What was it like writing about your life for the first time? Like, what surprised you the most is what I want to ask first, and then I have a couple of other questions about it.
Yeah. Oh, well, first of all, thank you both so much for sharing this space with me today. I love you both so much, and it's been such an incredible experience. What I found that was the most surprising was the ease in which the writing happened. Because I look back at the window of time and when we started the project and until now, and I'm like, wow it I always thought it would take a lot more out of like take a lot more quote unquote time. But I think what awareness I gained from that was when you're ready and your soul is ready to start and embark on a project like this, um, it just kind of starts to flow out of you, right? Like just you can't stop the river from flowing. The other thing that was really surprising, and Laura, you mentioned this in one of our calls that we did together. You were like, pretty much every author that I have interacted with it goes through some form of like rebirth or like massive upheaval. Something happens in their life that would really challenge you to take you out of the game of writing the book or like kind of puts you in this different mindset or headspace. And I definitely had my fair share of that while we were going through, the writing process. And it was so beautiful to be able to have the book as an outlet for a deeper message than what I originally set out to do. Through that kind of turbulence, more was brought to the book and more healing happened. So, yeah, it was really, really magical how that all went down. So,
Yeah, I cannot agree more. I mean, I went through my own kind of turmoil over the summer and just a lot of loss and a lot of grief. And the book has been a really nice touchstone to just do something creative, pour some positive energy into something. It's been a really unexpected healing experience for me as well. Even though I do usually learn something from every book that I write, this one has been especially kind of yeah, healing for lack of a better word. And I am so close to my mom. She's one of my absolute best friends, and this book touches on so many things, but one of the biggest ones is relationships between women, and um losing a woman who was super close to me over the summer. This was just a beautiful reminder that the women who are no longer with us, they are in different ways. And this book has taught me how to
mhm.
appreciate the ways in which I already noticed her with me and also find other ways to connect, and just learning more about the both of you has been such an honor and joy. Honestly, I just love working with the both of you so much. And I apologize, my dog is just begging for attention over here. Um, but I wanted to talk a little bit about what's in the book more, just to give everyone kind of a sense of what this book is going to be like. So I will say this is one of the more unique books that I have ever worked on. It has honestly a little bit of everything I think you can imagine in a coffee table book. It has stories, family photos, recipes. We came up with rituals. And so I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the process of us coming up with all of this stuff. So when y'all came to me and wanted to write this book together, what was the original, I guess, vision that you had, and what has like been the most unexpected outcome, I guess, of what we've actually created together? And Marisa, I want you to go first. When you first
Okay,
started, and
sure.
you're like, okay, I'm gonna say yes to this thing my mom wants to do with me that she's promising me is gonna be this like
Yeah.
healing, incredible thing that I'm gonna do. What did you have in mind, and what has been the most unexpected part of where we're at now?
Yeah, so I went into this thinking it was going to be literally a traditional cookbook, right? Like you open it up and it's going to have recipes and we are going to like slam it out with like some incredible, Rachel Ray and, meets Martha Stewart, meets, Bobby Flay, do all this fun stuff with a book, with a cookbook. And it turned into, and I came into it with, oh man, this is going to be so great because it's really going to work hand in hand with all of the health and wellness component that I'm about now. And I love cooking. And so this is just going to be a win-win-win all the way around for everybody. And let's do it, right? And it turned out to be something so different than what we set it out to be. And my mom and I started back in March, and we were up at her beautiful place in Arrowhead. And we started talking about the book and started talking things through with you. And it took a turn into, these stories around food. And we started to see that food is such a common place for people to come together. Like there's so much that is born and birthed around tables and shared around tables and wisdom and healing and all of that. And so we started down a different path with your guidance and pulled this together. And I'm just so excited about it because it is so different and it is so cool.
Yeah,
It's like
I
so
totally
cool and
agree.
so
I
healing,
totally
and
agree.
every woman deserves this book. And it's
I could
beautiful.
not agree more. Maria,
And
what
it's
about you?
beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's like aesthetically, it is a very
Yeah.
gorgeous book. Maria, I want to hear, same question. Like, what when you first envisioned writing with Marisa and where we're at now, what has been the biggest unexpected? Well, what did you envision first, and then what has been the most unexpected outcome of this process for you?
I had a little bit of glimmer of how it did unfold. I did want stories. I just wasn't sure what type of stories. Were they just going to show this recipe came from, and that was it?
Right.
Very like like in a box, here it is. Here's how it originated. Here's where you can buy the product or something like that. And
Yeah.
what I feel really keys in on this book, and I'm glad that it expanded as we talked and chatted and did all our times, both in person and virtually together, is the relationship that a woman in particular, not that men can't do this, but women in general bring so much love to their food because of the time, because usually there's family, children, a spouse, a caregiver situation. There's so many different relationships that feminine power can bring to food. And the love component, I think, is what we're trying to emulate in this book, and that came out for us because I really feel that's been lost in our society. People just grab something really quick to go or don't think about taking the time to use their senses or Why do I love this food so much? Was it my grandmother? Was it my mom? Why is this my go-to? And all those things come out in the book. And we didn't realize how much of it would come out, but I think it's our love for each other and our love for food and the relationship that we've developed. And we hope that other women will see that is available to them as well.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up, Maria. I think a big word that comes to mind is intention. I think this book emphasizes really being mindful of what your intentions are, why you're sitting down to eat this meal, how you're preparing it, and like you said, why do you love this thing so much? And it was really interesting just learning more about the two of you and how you're so different in so many ways, but there's also so many parallels between your experiences. And it was really interesting as your editor just to see like you guys went through very similar things, but your takeaways were so unique. And I think that's what a lot of women and men, of course, can read this book too. But I think a lot of women are going to read this book and see a lot of themselves in it, and hopefully be able to reconnect in a lot of ways. So I guess my next question for the both of you is what is the biggest thing that you want people to remember or take away from this book? Why do people really need to grab a copy or three and hand it to their two, best friends? Why do women need to read this book? And either one of you can go first. It doesn't, I will take
I'll
volunteers.
answer. Sure, I'll answer first because it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good. And, to all the listeners right now, when we are when we are creating the next version of ourselves, it's always about leaning into how does that version of our life or what we want to create, how does that make you feel, right? And that's where they tell you to go first in order to have any sort of change, in order to create anything new, or to experience something differently. Well, it's ultimately the feeling that we're after. And we get so lost in so many things in today's world and society that we forget who we are. And so this book is like a remembrance of how I get to feel good. And even when life is dishing up all these different things around the table with all these different people and situations, places and experiences, I can pick up this book and I can find peace. I can find hope. I can find commonality. I can find love, as my mom said. It's just a book of, like you said, Laura, intentionality and really keeping the focus on our divine feminine side of things and how we can be our own love in the world, love and light. So it's a really good feel good book.
Yeah.
And it talks
To
about,
emphasize what you're saying, Marisa,
yeah,
I think it's about finding your place at the table
yeah,
and knowing that you have every right to claim that spot and to enjoy yourself and to indulge a little bit. I think especially as women, we hold ourselves back a lot and we squeeze ourselves into spaces a lot. And I think this book is like a little permission slip to indulge in yourself a little bit more, is what I would say. So, Maria, same question for you, and thank you, Marisa. That was really beautiful. Same question for you. What do you want women to take away from this book?
Hope. I
Mm.
think so many women have lost hope in their own unique ability to shine. We all have that within us, but we lose it because we get caught up in our labels, our jobs, how we have to be supposedly in society's eyes, and then just the chaos and change that is happening so much in the world. It's hard to just be. You're like, oh my gosh, you're either living in fear or you're living in, I gotta do. And I think this book will show that the two of us were able to navigate when all that was still going on in the world. and maybe not as prevalent exterior, in the external world, but definitely within the home and within the business and within our own bodies. And that is what I think it will offer hope, and that it's simple. It's as simple as just looking at the book, looking at a picture, reading a quick story, and just going, okay, okay, I got this.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And to, I guess, expand on that thought, what's giving you hope right now? What are you doing for yourself on like a daily or weekly basis that's helping you feel some hope and some peace that maybe also might be a little bit in this book, but it doesn't have to be in the book. What are you doing at the moment to give yourself peace?
I am committed to a basic daily routine, and we talk a little bit about that. I'll just a sprinkle in the book. And without a doubt, no matter what, I tell myself, start your morning, sit down, breathe, go look. Like now we have a full moon. And so this morning here on the West Coast, I usually get up early. I'm used to that routine from being in the restaurant. It was 4:35. I got out there and I sat under this beautiful moon with some few clouds, and I just sat in peace and quiet and took in the nature and the palm trees. So that's really crucial to me to start my day, along with a couple other things. And one of them is a fun little tea recipe that I do for myself, and I change it up depending on the season. So
Love
that's a
that.
simple answer. I could go on different variations, but
No,
always,
I love that. And I think the word simple is important because, I feel like women hear self-care and a lot of us feel like, oh my God, that's just another thing to put on the list of things that I have to do today. And it really does not have to be you spending money, you exerting a lot of time or effort. It can just be a simple, I'm gonna go sit outside while I drink my morning coffee. It does not have to be anything super crazy. So Marisa, I want to ask you the same question. What are you doing right now for yourself to keep yourself grounded, centered? I know you've been going through a lot. I know that
Mm.
all of us have, but stuff that is also kind of reflected in this book. And I know there's been a lot of emotional things going on. And like you said, you're writing stories that you were not planning on writing. So it's been a very up and down, like
Yeah.
it's been an enjoyable process, hopefully, but I know it's been a lot. So what have you been doing to ground yourself and keep yourself really centered and
Oh,
at
I love
peace?
this question because it looks a little different, day to day, depending on what life is throwing your way. But I am really enjoying my walks, outdoors, plugging into nature, as my mom said, and just having that literally grounding of the earth. It has been so, so amazing for my soul. And gardening, believe it or not. So three things. So the walks, spending a lot of time in my beautiful exterior of our home, landscaping, and just, getting my hands in the earth and touching the earth and quiet, just the quiet. And this is so simple, but so neat at the same time, and it's relevant to the book. Taking the time to actually sit and enjoy dinners with my husband.
Mm,
Like we haven't even been going out to eat much. It's literally, he pretty much cooks for me every night, which is amazing. But sitting down and just allowing him to do his magic in the kitchen and sitting and chatting while he's cooking and serving up, it keeps me in a place of receivership, which is something that I am I am really working on, right? I think a lot of us women sometimes get caught up in that doing so much for other people that we neglect caring for ourselves. So these simple things like just sitting and allowing him to do this for me is something that really actually grounds me into who I am and helps me kind of bring forward what I'm looking to bring into the world. And I've been having some magical moments with my cat Jack.
I
So
love it. I love
yeah, he
it.
and I, he and I are like we're
I
there.
love it.
Yeah.
I love that so much, Marisa. Yeah, I am, and I liked how you said it can be different every single day because it does not have to be it should be a routine, but it doesn't have to be the same thing every single day. But as I said, the book has been a big reminder to me. I've been taking baths again, like full on bubble baths with candles and music,
Mm.
and I'm like, I have not done this in a long, long time, but I'm going to make the intention to do it. I've reintroduced like a nightly cup of tea. I'm walking again
Nice.
every day as much as possible.
Great.
So, yeah, I think, and like you said, Marisa, too, just like intentionally putting my phone away when we're having dinners and cooking and just getting back to simplicity, I think, because we're bombarded every single day. You can put your energy into so many different spaces, and you really do have to be very mindful and have your boundaries very set with where you want to place your energy, because it can take you in so many beautiful directions, but it can also send you spiraling if you're not really mindful about it, you know? And I think it's a beautiful reminder to any woman who's at any level of her life that she can find moments for herself to just reconnect and remember all the women who helped her get to this point, who she can lean on if she's going through something. You know, I was just talking to my best friend yesterday, and I'm like, we may have all this craziness going on around us, but we always have each other, you know? And
Exactly.
I feel like female friendships, mothers, daughters, like there's a sacredness that kind of comes along with finding the women in your life that get you and understand and don't judge you and don't offer negativity when there's already so much of that that's offered in the world. Just finding people that understand that you just want to live a beautiful, thriving life, and there's no need for all of the drama and the chaos and all of it, you know. And I love that in the book we get to see both of you in those chaotic moments, but also healing from them and understanding that it doesn't have to be that way. And I think there's just so much in this book that people are going to really take with them and appreciate. So I'm just really excited for it to come out. I can't really say anything else about it at this point, but I'm really, really excited for people to find out more. I will give a hint that it'll be in the next month or so that you can get your hands on this book, but that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So, but thank you, ladies, so, so much for your time today and just talking about, you know, the more vulnerable sides of this book, because I think it's hard for people to be vulnerable. It's something that I've worked on myself and my own just relationships. And I think that that's why this book is so beautiful. It's because you were both willing to go there and get really honest with yourselves. And it's going to help other women too get honest with themselves. So I'm just really excited for it. I can't wait.
Mm.
Thank you
Well,
so
thank you
much,
so
Laura.
much.
Yes, thank you both. And Maria, this is your podcast, so I'm going to let you close us out. I'm going to zip my lips, but thank you. Thank you for letting me
Aw.
interview you both. This was so much fun.
So, the only thing I can say is we're all foodie lovers. We're
Yes.
all lovers of learning the journey of growing. We're students of life. And I think these two ladies that joined me today have been my teachers, and I've been a student of both of them. And I'm just so honored to be growing. And learning from both of them. And it's possible to learn from those that are younger than you and have a lot of wisdom. So tune in next month, and you'll be really getting a lot more wisdom from all of us
Yes.
because all of our
Yes.
our stuff is in that book. So
Yes.
thank you
I'm
so
so excited.
much, and we'll see
Thank
you next
you.
time on
Thank you,
Ladies in
Thank
the
ladies.
you.
Kitchen.
Bye.
Bye.